Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the HOBY podcast. You are listening to the local series where we talk about the country and its culture with locals. This episode is about South Korea. Many people are curious about South Korea these days. Some like K-pop and K-dramas, while others might be interested in speaking Korean. One of the unique facts about South Korea is that they are automatically 1 year old at birth. This means that a newborn baby is considered 1 year old in South Korea. Another interesting fact is that Valentine's Day is when the males receive chocolate or something else from females, while girls receive all sorts of gifts on White Day. So White Day is essentially another Valentine's Day held a month later on March 14th. And we'll learn more about South Korea from our guest, Yeheun Kim. Hello, Yeheun. Welcome.
Hi.
Yeah, nice to talk to you. So, could you please introduce yourself? What do you do and where are you at the moment?
Yeah, sure. So, hi, my name is Yeheun Kim. I'm from Seongnam City, South Korea, which is a city right next to Seoul. And I'm currently a rising senior in Penn Foster High School, which is an American high school.
And where did you pick up your English? Your English sounds so good.
I went to this one international school when I was in junior high, and I guess those 3 years and then just practicing by myself helped me a lot.
Wow, it helped a lot. Yeah. Could you please talk about the common ways of greeting people in South Korea?
Yes, so in a lot of East Asian countries, a lot of formal ways to greet people is to bow 90 degrees to people, but I guess usually we just do like 45-degree, bows to elders, especially like people who are older than you. But also in terms of like business, we also do a lot of handshakes. And when we're talking to just friends, we just say like, hi, 안녕. We just say it with words. We don't really do any bows or stuff.
And do you have something like, if you respect that person more, you bow even more than 90 degrees?
No, that's kind of, they think it's weird if you bow more than 90 degrees. I heard in Japan, there was a culture where the last person to bow or last person to say bye or thank you is the most, respectful person. So that's why they bow like constantly, but that's different in Korea. We don't do that.
We also do that. I mean, girls, the only time when... That you girls? Yeah, not us, men. Girls, when they get married, about first 30 days, they bow whenever they have guests. So they bow 3 times. Yeah, that's the only time you see here. But it's not 90 degrees, it's half of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
It's about 45 degrees.
That's the same, yeah.
And just one more question. We know that Chinese don't really hug each other. It's not in their culture. How about Korea? Do you hug each other? Friends, maybe family?
Not formally, like boys, they don't really hug each other, but a lot of like girls, a lot of female friends like myself, they hug a lot with friends. So yeah, it's not something weird for girls, but for boys, they don't really do it.
What about family members?
Family members? Yeah, I do hug a lot, but there's a large difference depending on the family. So usually they wouldn't hug when they become like a teenager or when they're in high school to their parents. But I personally still hug, and yeah, I still hug them and I cuddle with my mom. So it really depends on which family you're in and their family culture.
I see. What might surprise foreigners if they visit South Korea?
I guess there's a lot of things that surprise foreigners, but one is the nightlife. So there are a lot of stores that are open like 24/7. For example, like a lot of restaurants and even McDonald's are 24/7 in Korea. And most of the convenience stores are 24/7. And if you go to Gangnam, like the heart of Seoul, there are like hair salons or any other type of store that goes like 24/7. And if you go to like this one place in Seoul, it's called Dongdaemun. There's a department store that closes at 5 a.m. and then opens at 9 a.m. So yeah, it's kind of crazy that people really enjoy the nightlife, and it's really open 24/7 for convenience and also to enjoy. And that's, I guess that's what surprises foreigners a lot, especially people in the US, because a lot of stores close at just like 10 p.m. and go dark, but it's like very bright in Korea.
Wow.
And yeah, I can talk about other stuff that that surprises the foreigners.
Sure.
And the other is the delivery app. So we have a lot of like food delivery apps in Korea, and you can virtually order all kinds of food, like everything you can think of. If it's like ice cream, it could be like coffee or hot dogs, or I mean pizza they deliver obviously, but all types of food they deliver, and then they deliver to any place you want in like 1 or 2 hours. So it's very fast and it's very convenient for people living in South Korea.
And do you yourself use that service a lot?
Yes, of course. So there's a one app called 배달의 민족. It means the I guess the people, or the, I'm not sure how it translates, but it's called 배달의 민족, and it's used by around like 50 million people in Korea, and I use it virtually like every single day, and I even used it today to get ordered like Italian pasta. So yeah, we use a lot, like Koreans use a lot these days, especially because of COVID, because a lot of people, they have to just eat at home, I guess.
Yeah, it must be so convenient, because in Tajikistan we don't use it. We have it, but it's not popular. Everything is DIY, do it yourself.
Oh, and yeah, I just have one other thing about the surprising foreigners, and the other is safety. So it is very safe, and I guess stealing is not a thing in Korea. So if you leave anything, especially like a phone or a very expensive purse or a laptop, no one takes it. So a lot of people just leave their stuff in the cafes or other stores, and then they just come back to get it because they just feel safe, like nobody's gonna get it. And there's also a lot of like surveillance cameras, so they know if they do it, they're gonna get caught and just face the bad consequences. So, stealing is not a thing. It's very safe in Korea.
Yeah, it must be really hard for you when you travel. It's not the same around the world, so you always need to take care of your stuff when you travel.
Yeah, it's very annoying. Like, yeah, I'm not used to that.
Yeah. Talk about why are people so obsessed about the beauty and perfection?
Oh, that's true. So a lot of people are obsessed about beauty, and I think one part is because of like a lot of K culture, and it's very widespread. A lot of people in the world watch about it, and because there are a lot of audience, people set like the beauty standards, especially in Korea, having like double eyelids, big eyes, and then very straight nose. And then, I guess that's like a beauty standard, and a lot of Koreans want to fit in it. So a lot of students in middle school and high school, they get double eyelid surgery. And it's sort of like a culture, but not everyone does it. But that's a big, that's a big issue, and people can be very stressed about it sometimes.
Is it popular among men or women or both?
I guess like 90% women and 10% men. If you go to like Seoul, there are a lot of men who, not a lot, but some men who put on makeups and do plastic surgeries in order to look good. And they're not really frowned upon. They're just like, they want to take care of themselves, take care of their skin. So there's like a minority of men who do it there, and it's just part of the culture, I guess.
I even read that girls like when men put makeup, and they call it something like flower man or flower boy, or beautiful like a flower. I don't remember.
Yeah, girls do. Some girls do like it. But I personally don't like it. But yeah, there are a lot of girls who like men who take care of themselves.
Okay, we have some questions and we just want to know that is that true or not. So we'll ask you, just say true or false, okay?
Okay.
People use both hands to show respect.
In what occasions exactly?
For example, when they open the door or maybe pour some water. Or if you're receiving anything, receive it with two hands.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Yeah. And people love coffee.
Yes, very true. Yes.
And nobody talks on trains.
Yeah, that's true. True. They can talk, but it's very not a good, respectful way of living in society, Korean society.
What if somebody calls you? Can you answer?
If it's like a short call, they usually answer in like a very, very small voice and they hang up, I guess.
Okay. If you wear traditional clothes, it will give you free admission to some historic places?
Yes, true.
Wow.
So if you go to a lot of traditional sites, they want people to wear like Korean traditional clothes, which is hanbok, so they give you free admission. Yeah, that's true.
Wow, that's a good thing. One more surprising thing, it's for us surprising. We heard that bathhouse is very popular in South Korea. Koreans go there even 3-4 times a week.
Bathhouse?
Yeah.
Oh, it's called 목욕탕. So it's like sauna. Do you mean like
sauna? Yeah, right.
Yeah, so sauna culture is like in Finland, it's a very popular culture in Korea. So, but they don't go 3 or 4 times. When I was young, I went there like once every 2 weeks to give a bath and go with our parents and friends and family. But 3 or 4 times, that's an exaggeration. So maybe like usually once a month for people.
Okay. If you could choose 3 aspects of your culture to put in a time box for the future, what would you put in it?
I guess because I'm still a teenager, I would say the one culture that we have during the Lunar New Year holiday. So just like in many East Asian countries, Korea celebrates Lunar New Year holidays with family. And one great thing about being a kid during the holiday is that the children, they offer elders, including grandparents, uncles, and parents, traditional New Year bow called sebe. It's not 90 degrees, but you really bow down to the floor in order to show respect to the elders.
Wow.
And then what happens after that is you receive pocket money. You receive a lot of cash gifts from the elders. So that's when kids get a lot of money. So that's a great culture that I would treasure it even in the future. And the other culture is kimjang culture. It's called kimjang culture, and it means making kimchi culture. So during the month of November, like a lot of families meet together to make kimchis by filling the cabbage with salt, red pepper, and a lot of spices. It's not just a time where we make kimchis, but it's also a time where we spend a lot of time with families and share what's going on and how's it going with people. But like sadly, it's getting the kimjang culture is fading a lot because they're getting pretty busy and they don't meet with family as often as before. So it's pretty much fading, but I really want Korean community to preserve that future, preserve the culture into the future.
Yeah. What about K-pop?
K-pop? Oh, that was a culture. Okay. Yeah, I like K-pop. So I don't really like a lot of, idols type of K-pop, but I really like the solo artist. For example, like Taeyeon, Sayanti. A lot of non-Koreans might not know. They only know like usually idols. But yeah, K-pop is also a very wide phenomenon. So yeah, I would include K-pop.
Yeah, here in Tajikistan, local music is not that popular among teenagers, but I guess it's not the same in South Korea. People love it, right? K-pop.
Yeah, people love it. They're crazy about it.
Only young people, teenagers?
But yeah.
or everyone?
No, a lot of like 20s people in 20s 30s, they're also crazy about K-pop, and especially in terms of like BTS, there are a lot of like women in like 40s or 50s who love BTS, for example, my mom. So
Wow.
yeah, it's a pretty popular culture. And one misconception that a lot of non-Koreans have is that people only listen to K-pop, but that isn't true. And a lot of people listen to pop music, and they love artists such as like Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, Coldplay, The Weeknd, and a lot of pop music. So yeah, that's one misconception they have.
Yeah. And people here, they love Korean dramas. And do you watch your own movies? I mean, is it called that drama or drama? In Korea, my students, they correct me when I say drama.
In Korea, it's called drama.
Ah,
So
okay.
it's a Konglish drama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, they also watch a lot of K-dramas. They're very, very good K-dramas. For example, like Goblin. The Guardian. It's called The Guardian. Descendants of the Sun, Signal. Yeah, there are a lot. And when I was young, I used to watch a lot. But these days, I'm just personally into a lot of American series like Grey's Anatomy. But yeah, a lot of Koreans watch K-drama still.
Yeah. Koreans, they are really, really good actors. And you believe them, I mean, when they play it. They know how to make you cry.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's good. And any other misconceptions people have about South Korea?
It's a pretty outdated misconception, but one is that Koreans eat dogs, and it's a very, very outdated misconception. Nobody eats like dogs these days, but I guess the misconception came from like several decades ago when Korea... So several decades ago, it was true that Koreans used to eat dogs because they shouldn't think Korea as the Korea now, but even like 60 years ago, we were among like one of the poorest nations on earth.
Yeah.
We were just out of colonization from Japan, and we experienced Korean War where just literally everything was plundered. So people were, I guess, dying. Millions of people were dying out of starvation, and they needed to eat dogs in order to survive, you know.
Yeah.
So that was the one way of maintaining their survival. But right now we're getting fine. We're developing, and we're developing economically and socially. So we don't eat dogs anymore. But that was our past, and people really need to understand what had happened and the reason behind what we did, not based on their simple assumptions.
Yeah, exactly. You had to do that to survive. It's not that you love dog meat, but there was no other choice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not a choice.
Yeah. Okay. What is the best time to visit South Korea?
I guess around April, May, or September, October, because we have 4 seasons, including spring, summer, autumn, and fall, autumn and winter. But I guess because of climate change, we're having extremely hot weather and cold weather. So I guess during the transition between those seasons, April, May, September, October, it's a pretty prime time to visit.
I see. And what about in terms of some holidays and festivals?
Holidays in Korea?
Yeah, maybe there is something, there's a big holiday or a festival that worth to see.
I guess. So a lot of holidays in Korea has to do with family, so it's not much of a celebration, like outside celebration. But there are a lot of like crazily fun festivals, but I can't think of it now. So yeah, I'm sorry, but in terms of holidays, it's a lot about family.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's very good for us because we are also very family-oriented people here, and yeah, I like it a lot. Okay, and any closing thoughts from you before we wrap up?
Closing questions or closing comments?
Yeah, comment or anything that you would like to share.
I guess I liked people to visit a lot in Korea, not just Seoul, but there are a lot of places to explore and really understand the culture and interact with the Korean people. So it's worth visiting, I would say, South Korea.
Definitely. Where should people go to find more about you and your work?
If you go to like Instagram, you can type in KYE_7. Or you could go to LinkedIn and search on my name, Yeheun Kim, and you'll be able to find my profile.
Okay, then we'll put that in the show notes so people can find you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you so much, Yeheun. We had a good time. We were really excited to talk about South Korea because we sometimes we watch Korean drama and we really like it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really had a lot of fun chatting about this.
Yeah. Okay, thank you and bye.
All right, bye. I'll see you then.